There we go. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're having a nice Monday evening. Hey, Nadja, how's it going? I just came in. It's raining like crazy outside us. So, and my light outside the office is broken. So I was walking in, and I have my Crocs and some like kind of woolen socks underneath, and I stepped right in a puddle. So I had to go in and change my socks before I came in. Like my pants are a bit soaked, but it'll be something. It's always interesting to focus on different things when you're meditating. It's not that you need to have the perfect setting for meditation. It's more that you need to have the perfect mind setting for meditation. That sounds pretty good. Hey Mats, Andreas, nice to see you. I wish there was a way to like get I read comments on my laptop, but I would want to have them here so I can look at people all the time. I think there is some kind of good evening, Brad. Hey Nicole. Some screen you can put in front somehow and maybe project it up. It would be really nice to have a bit more eye contact. I've been having more of the interviews or conversations with people for the course, and that's been really interesting. Thank you so much, everyone who's taken the time to talk to me. Some of the conversations have been really long, and it's just so... For me, it's nice to see more of you, because I talk to you and I have a feeling at what everyone's like, but when I get to talk to people for a few hours, it gives me a different appreciation, and there's like a common thread to people who come and watch me, which I'm very happy about. And I think there's also it just makes sense. I mean, the way that I talk about distortions, everyone who's here have suffered in some way. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. I'm kind of naive in believing that, you just meditate because you know it's good, so that's why you're here. But obviously, you, just like me, I also came from pain. We come to practice because we have had some kind of pain, and we feel that there's a dissonance, there's a non-match between how we view reality and how we want to view reality, meaning that we know that there's someone inside who wants to enjoy life, but we're just not able to. We can't get over there, and it's so annoying when we see that, hey, wait a minute, I know that I can choose this, because I'm thinking now that I want to be like that, and yet I have this feeling inside of me that it's uncomfortable. And if you've been in pain and if you've suffered a lot, you've sat with that so much more than the average person has, because most people just don't sit with that much suffering. Most people and spiritual people look down on people who live normal lives, who kind of go to work and they have their family and they buy a new TV and they're happy for a while, and then they buy a new telephone. And I'm kind of like, man, I'm almost jealous about that. Like, imagine if it would be that easy to be happy. Granted, they might not see that there's more to life, but still, it's like they're probably happier than most spiritual people because they don't overthink things, they don't get down into things so much. But most of you are here, have observed a lot of pain, and you have seen what it's like to want life to be different. So I think that's why people appreciate my view on it. And also, I think another common denominator, like amongst most people, is that there's a lot of spiritual people who are really spiritual, like really into that part of the practice. I like talking about vague things and drawing wide conclusions, like astronomical conclusions that like have very little base in their experience of their reality. They just kind of interpret things broadly. And I think that most people who are here are yes, more normal, not normal, that sounds bad, but yeah, just like, why do we have to make it so complicated? Do we really need to add on all of this stuff? Can't we just like say like, hey, we're just normal people, like I suffer, I don't like this pain I have inside, I want to feel better, what should I do? Do I need to start praying to the people in our overlords on Sirius who are sending our energies, or do we need to tap into all these things, and do I need to create this perfect life through manifestation, which is also it's a trap. Like we believe that if I can just manifest the perfect life, then I'll be happy. But you and I very likely know, at least I know for sure, that even if I would have my perfect life, I would still be in pain. There would still be suffering. There would still be this distortion. There would not be perfect ease and congruency between me and the world around me. There would always be something I wanted to change. So I think those things are things that I've seen in everyone, that we kind of lack that need to overinterpret, but we have a really strong desire to enjoy life, to just enjoy life as it is. Doesn't mean you can't want life to be better, like your life story. Absolutely work on every aspect you can to make that story better, to have a better partner. I mean, you don't have to change your partner, but you can create your relationship so that it's in a better way, or have a better job, or just have a better relationship with people around you. Like, obviously those are things you should work for, but we're not doing that from the illusion that will bring us happiness, because if you've done that enough times, you know that is not true. And I think that's like one of the key things that I see in most people. Nadia, yes, this is very accurate for me. I also just assume everyone is happier than myself. Yeah, also a really common thing. Like we it's so easy to believe that. I mean, we view Facebook and maybe Facebook isn't that big anymore. I've heard that that's for old people. It says a lot about me. I remember when Facebook came. I remember when my friend was like, dude, have you heard about this Facebook? Like a Facebook, what does it mean? Yeah, well, what do you do there? I don't know. Like, you post photos? You can, because when we go to parties, you can post photos, kind of. It was new. I think 2007 I did that. 6. But yeah, we view people, like how they live life there, and we see how they show their life. And I have some friends who I know have issues and have a really hard time, but every time there's a photo, it's like, it's always like it's so happy. And it's really like, we have to show everyone how happy we are. We have to. So then when we view that, obviously, oh, God damn it, like my life, look at me, I'm not sitting like this. I should be sitting like this the whole time. My fiance actually used to work as a model, and she said, like, it's so funny the smile they have on the photos where you, like, who the heck smiles like that? Like, no one has, like, that's like in the middle of a laugh, you go, oh, it actually hurt my eyes. I'm a bit dry from the dry hair. But that makes us feel bad, because then we compare ourselves to them and we be like, oh, we need to be different. Nicole, are you still interviewing? I'm late. Yeah, I've actually thought about doing, I think 1 or 2 more this week. Friday, I probably have a time. If you want to, Nicole, send me, if you have my about, I mean on the YouTube page about, there should be a email. Send me an email and I'll send you, if it's possible on Friday for you, that could work. I still have 1 or 2 more times. Because it's just been such a good experience for me, and it's been really fun talking to people. It gives people a perspective on their own practice as well, because I have my own way of viewing things. So generally when I hear people talking, and I've always had that when I do coaching with people, like I hear, if people just talk long enough, I see threads, like it just kind of, in my mind, it just kind of rattles out. I have an easy time seeing pattern in people's behavior, or just, I don't want to say sense, but see, I can feel what people are like. Like my fiance, she always says, like, she has a new colleague at her work. She works with lots of people, and then she'll always like, okay, what do you think about her or him? What do you think they're like? And I just watch 1 or 2 photos of them, and I almost always know what kind of person they're like. I mean, it's not that but like just the way they hold themselves and the way people want to be perceived. You can tell a lot about people, and you can see what they're like, and there's a, I don't mean like what their favorite color is. I mean their sense of openness, how open they are to other people. There's a lot of people who carry a lot of, I want to be seen or perceived a certain way. And I think that's also a common thing that most people hear. You wouldn't come to watch me because I most definitely don't uphold the guru ambience around me. I have thought about putting a Buddha statue there. I mean, that would be pretty neat, because I like Buddha statues. They're pretty nice. And I have a painting my aunt did for me, of me, where like there's a monk walking on the beach. So maybe I'll put something up like that. But I'm not really into trinkets and that that atmosphere. I think we could just be here and practice because we want to enjoy life more. We don't need to go so far out. Like, it doesn't have to be. It can, and I recommend everyone to do, because I think it's just a natural thing. We need to do that. It's almost like it's just a natural part of the progression. You start out like, oh, okay, I get it. I should meditate, and then you sit with your eyes closed and you read some text and like, oh yeah, I should be a Buddhist. Obviously, that sounds much better because that's like loving kindness and stuff. Good. Then I should practice yoga, and I should be a vegetarian. No, vegetarian isn't good enough. I should be a vegan. And then you start looking at what words you use, like, oh, I can't use that word because that word means that. And then you start saying up certain friendships, and then very likely you have a relationship, and then relationship doesn't really work because he or she isn't giving you what you need. They're not listening to you, and you become very special in how you talk to people, and you ruin a lot of relationships. And then after you ruin all those relationships, you realize, oh, God damn it, I was such a jerk. I didn't need to tell them how they should live their life because I hate it when people tell me how to live my life. Maybe I should just be a bit more chill and just practice. So I think that's kind of along the path where people come to me and like, okay, yeah, we don't need to be so full of ourselves with our practice. We can just be like normal people and practice. And I actually thought about making a video because I've seen literally thousands of people who have become spiritual. Everyone does the same thing. It's a little bit like the order, but there's really, I should sit down and try to come up with a pattern. I say it jokingly sometimes, but there really is a pattern to what people, and I hope you don't feel offended if you're looking at this and hear me say this, but there really is a pattern to what people do kind of and what they try out, and some people get stuck in certain places, and there's just things people do, and then gradually tends to be that people are just a little bit more chill after a while. It tends to be the outcome if you persist and keep on practicing, and you realize that it's really not that special. It's just something different. It's kind of like falling in love. The first you fall in love, you're like, whoa, that is like, I've never experienced that before. I don't think anyone could have ever experienced what I experienced. I mean, I remember when I was a teenager, no one could have ever been as in love as I did. Was like, I believe that. Then I believe that because it's a new feeling. It's a new experience, and so we believe that no one could have experienced this before because I haven't, so then it must be new for everyone else as well. And it's the same with our meditational practice, that we experience something new and we're like, oh, no one's ever experienced this, and we tend to then let that go out of control a little bit. So try to not ruin your life too much when you do practice. Just kind of persist and like keep at it, and there will be lots of benefits, but there's also a lot of pitfalls and difficult things that come along the way, and many people come into it with a lot of suffering, and then it can be a good thing to make those changes. Maybe you are in a relationship that's not good for you, and maybe you have friends around you that aren't good for you, so then absolutely you should change that. But sometimes I feel like people do it just because they think they believe they should. They just believe they should. What do you guys say? Am I talking nonsense, or do you agree? Or is there anything in that you can recognize? I don't believe there are absolute patterns, and I don't believe that there's an absolute direction, meaning that you go from this. And I'm not talking about your realization. I'm talking about how we approach practice, kind of like how you go into it and the things you try. And I think that just has to do a lot with accessibility and what's popular, like what's mainstream for people when they start practicing spirituality. Because certain things are more mainstream than others. Good evening, Mindful Mama. Nice to see you. By the way, if there's anyone else except for Nicole who want to do one of the interviews, feel free to look on my About page on the YouTube channel and send me an email, and we'll see if we can find a time. Nice. It's Monday today. Yes, it is Monday. Beautiful. It's guided meditation. For those of you who are new, what are the interviews about? They're for the course that I'm making. So I interview people because I want to find out why people meditate. I want to find out where they're coming from, kind of. it's so easy to assume, as meditation teachers, we assume a lot of things. In Buddhism, there's a lot of assumptions of what people are like, and we try to place people into different like categories that are like this. And it's very easy for me to say like, oh, you should do this. I always believe that I don't know best why you should do anything. It's like I can help you become clearer so that you can make the right choices yourself. And I think it's the same with this. It's easy for me to put a desired outcome for people why they should meditate. But that might not be the outcome that you're after, or the reason you want to meditate. So I'm doing it to learn or understand deeper, better, why people meditate and what's behind their meditation, and also see how their progression is, like what they did, what if they've meditated. I'm mostly interested, I think, for this course. I want to find people. I want to help people who have meditated before, meaning it's not just like a brand beginner course, but people have meditated before, but just never really got it working, you know? There's something that just doesn't really click. Or they had a practice and then it worked for a while and then it stopped. Why is that? There's a lot of things that happen that are common to everyone, like when you start meditating, that will make it difficult to continue. So I want to see what people ran into and have a clear understanding of that. But also, if you had something that actually worked, what was that? How did you get through it? What were the things that helped you, or what were the things that made it difficult for you to continue? What kind of things has come out of your practice, and what kind of things were you expecting? What didn't come out and you actually wanted to come out, or like all the things in between. So yeah, that's I think that's the main reason, finding out why people meditate. Oh yeah, and another way is it's helping me get better at communicating my approach, like the distortion practice. It's, again, I haven't read this in a book, and I'm trying to kind of put my words onto it. It's literally how I'm experiencing reality and how my practice has taken me forward. And it's a way for me to understand better how should I communicate that, because basically I can just tell you, like, oh, when you feel this distortion towards something, when you feel pain, just sit with that and just release it. Like, okay, but what does that mean? Like, how do I release it? What is it I'm looking at? What should it feel like? What should it feel like when I release it? Like, what are you telling me to do? So it's helping me get clearer in how to communicate what to do. Nadia, meditation didn't work for me before because I didn't have a focal point to focus on. Oh, interesting. Mats, I'm really curious about your findings. There probably are many parallels, although the people are probably quite different. Yeah, and this is the thing. We have I'm talking longer than I intended to, but there is an interesting, it's called dichotomy, difference, like things that don't go together. In the West, we say everyone is unique, everyone is special. There's no one like you. You are like a special snowflake. It's just you who are like this. In the East, they tend to categorize people into like a few categories. If you have the Ayurveda, they have four different body types. It's just 4 body types, and then you can have a mixture of them. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Is it just 3? I thought it was 4. Kapha. Maybe it's 3. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it is 3. And then you can have a mixture of those 3. So you can have, but it's not like a gazillion different versions of body types. It's just these 3. Same with Buddhism. When you look at how the mind is, I think there's like 8 or 10. I don't actually know. There's not an infinite amount of ways that people can function, or how our minds function. There is an infinite amount of inputs that will create different likes, meaning that my personality, no one will have exactly my likes and dislikes about everything, but you can see kind of big groups of things like that are similar in people, and that's something we don't like in the West because we want to be special, whereas in the East they just see it more natural that, well, obviously there's like similarities, and you can see how people are more like this, or they're more like that. Or there's a Swedish author who did it had a funny name, like Everyone's an Idiot Except for Me, or something like that, and where he talks about communication style. So I think it's 4 different colors. I can't remember. It's like blue, green, red, and yellow or something. And people who are blue, they need to have everything described through details. If you're going to explain to me how meditation works, I need to know the numbers. Scientific research, tell me exactly how it works, what like endorphins are releasing, like everything. I want to know it in detail. And then there's another one who wants to do it because he looks cool. So he wants to do meditation because it should make other people perceive me as someone who's interesting or profound. And there's another body type who does it because I want to help others. That's my motivation. So there's like different kind of buckets that you can place people in. Life seems to be inherently unsatisfactory. That sounds depressing. Yeah, it does, right? But that's the thing. I completely disagree with that, and at the same time I agree with it. Your life story is inherently unsatisfactory, meaning you can never come up with a story that will ultimately give you satisfaction, but you can really experience satisfaction just here and now by experiencing your senses. So it's not that you can't experience satisfaction or a happy life. It's just that your life story is constantly made looking for, like the whole basis for our society is you are not good the way you are, but buy this thing and go over there and then you'll be happy. Or change this. If it's not buy this thing, then it's spirituality. No. Like you shouldn't buy things. You are perfect the way you are, but just move over there with what religion you have, what practice you do, what you believe in, what your likes and dislikes are, or what precepts or what commandments, whatever you go over there, and then you'll be happy. So it's this idea that life should be different, and then I'll be happy. Whereas I say life is what it is, and then you'll be happy. Surrounded by Idiots, the book's name. Yes, that's it, Andreas. You know it, of course. It's a really good book. Very interesting topic. Okay, yeah, I just enjoy these conversations too much. We're going to continue so it doesn't get too late. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me and not getting bored. For those of you new, we have a short discussion before we start, and just about random topics. After that, we do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. It's difficult to count backwards from 5. My daughter just told me that she can do it from 10, so I'm behind. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, where we say 5 things out loud that we can see, 4 things we can feel, 3 things that we can hear, 2 things that we can smell, and 1 thing that we can taste. Did I say that correct? I hope so. We'll correct it otherwise. After that, today's Monday, so we have a guided meditation for 20 minutes, and then if there's any questions or you have after, then feel free to ask them. So, to begin with, we'll do the 5 things that we can see, and it's not about saying out aloud 5 things that we can see. It's about being aware of those things. It's about seeing the details in the thing you're seeing. You could say that right now I see a camera, so that's my first thing. I see a camera. I know that's a camera, but what I'm focusing on is not the feeling of camera, what it can do. I could have a feeling like it's watching me, and I could feel uncomfortable if I felt uncomfortable in front of a lens, or it could feel nice because I like being in front of a lens. Like there could be all these feelings associated with it. But what I'm really looking for when I'm looking at the camera is the reflection of the light on the top, and I can see the way it curves around. I can see the texture of the grip. I can see the texture on the plastic, and I can see the way it bends, kind of like that. And there's like these contrasting letters on it that says something which is unimportant. We're trying to break down our experience of reality into small details, small components. So we don't use the vague things such as camera, because the word camera is extremely vague. There's a gazillion things in that camera. There's a certain amount of things about the appearance, because we're just looking right now, that we could say how it looks. And you could really study the camera and just look, and then look at the shapes and the textures, how it's curved, how there's a feeling, like 3-dimensional viewing is actually a part of it. Part of it is a feeling. You feel like, I know what's behind it. That's part of how we view 3D, and that disappears when you're non-centric and you don't feel that. So it's just, everything is just there. It's like not a relationship between you and the item. It's just there, and there's ease and peace. And if it's not something that's hurting you, then very likely you'll be okay with it being there. You don't need to change it. Meaning whatever your life is like, it can be that way. Or you change it if you feel like it. but you don't need to do that to feel good. So there's a camera that I can see. I can see, that's a really long way of saying a camera, right? But you get what I'm getting at. You get what I'm getting at. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. I see a pair of headphones. Also try to make sure that you don't tense up and like create a distance. Just kind of relax while you're watching. I see a fire extinguisher. I see a spotlight. I see a fire alarm that I promised my fiance I would. Actually, it's a carbon monoxide alarm that I promised my fiance I'd take in. That was half a year ago. That was 5 things that I could see. Now we go 4 things that we can feel. Same thing here. We're not trying to really categorize things into good or bad or what we like or don't like. We're just trying to enjoy experiencing, feeling. Even something that can be a little bit uncomfortable can be enjoyable when you feel. I always feel like there's a woolen sofa here that I could say, oh, that's actually a little bit like coarse. It's not really nice in a way to feel on the underside of my arm. But the sensation of all the sensation, it's really interesting. And it's nice to feel that. And I try to not feel like a distance between me and what I'm feeling. It's just a feeling. There's no one there feeling. It's just sensations happening. I don't need to evaluate them, judge them, or put them in a compartment or anything. It's just an interesting feeling. I can feel the hair on my arm. I can also feel it from how they kind of touch my hand, but I can also feel the hair where it's attached to my arm, what that feels like. I can feel my thermos, and I can feel that there's a sticker missing here. And I can feel a bit of a headache. There's a bit of pressure in my head. There's 4 things that I could feel, and then 3 things that we can hear. I can hear lots of dropping. It's raining outside, and the snow is melting. I hear rain on metal. I can hear my computer fan. No, I'm not going to turn it on silent because we all know what happens if I do that. I already did that before, so it wouldn't happen again this time. Next we have 2 things that we can smell. There's a fresh smell, almost like a cleaning detergent of some kind. And, well, now I smell the vanilla from my rooibos tea. And finally, one thing that we can taste. Strawberry. Since today we're going to focus on our breath, and since I accidentally put my alarm on 2 hours, it will be a little bit longer today than normally. So I want you to start focusing on your breath. Just feel what it feels like when breath is coming in and going out. What's that experience that you sense inside of you of air moving inside and outside? And just start resting your awareness there. It's important not to tense up. In other words, I kind of want you to not look for the breath. I just want you to be with the breath. Just see that it's there. And what I mean by that is that when you look for something, there's a feeling of almost squinting, like you narrow your eyes and you're looking for something in the dark. We tend to do that with our distortion system, with our mind, how we extend our awareness around the body, like we try to look for something. It's very easy to do this, but that creates more distance. It creates more separation. We're trying to not have that. Instead, we're trying to just be the breath happening. It's just there. We're not trying to change it. We're not trying to transform it or transmute it or use its energy to do something. We're just trying to let breath happen by itself. Just seeing what it does. So in a way, at first it feels like you might be the breath, but then you separate from the breath and you're somehow observing the breath. And there's a part observing the breath, and then there's the breath. But then eventually, as you continue, there will just be the breath. There is nothing observing. It's just breath happening. And to make that easier, we relax our attention, we relax our focus, we just let breath be there. Another important thing is to be kind to yourself. It's so easy to have all these ideas and concepts of what other people do in their meditation and what you should or shouldn't experience, and you might judge yourself, think like, oh, it's so difficult for me to be with the breath, it's so painful, it should not be like this, it should just happen by itself. I'm sure that all the other people watching this, they're just sitting there half levitating about a few decimeters above their meditation cushion, and everything's serene around them, or if it wasn't, then they weren't affected by it at all. And they're probably traveling to other dimensions and having really pleasant experiences. Instead of just realizing that we're just experiencing what's happening right here. Everyone will have difficult things coming up. Everyone will have pleasant things coming up. And it's our job to just let them come, stay there for a while, and then they go. And then they come again, stay there for a while, and then they go. We're developing a stable, I don't want to say mind, but a stable system that's able to handle when life gets turbulent. And not just the story of your life, but the sensations inside of you. Because if you keep meditating the way we're doing here, eventually you'll realize that when you start picking a fight with your children or your spouse or people around you, it's often not that their action come first. Instead, it's that you go around with a sense of distortion inside of you that feels uncomfortable, and then you find something to latch it onto. Like, oh, they did this, and then you get angry. So by observing the breath, we'll become aware of the distortions we have inside of us. And at first it might feel like, oh, I'm really not good at this. I keep messing up the whole time. And as you get better, you'll get even better at realizing how much you mess up and how much you miss it. And it's difficult to stay joyous when you have a feeling inside of you that just feels like crap. It's easy to judge yourself. It's easy to put yourself down and believe that you're not good at this stuff. But all the other people doing it obviously are, but I am not like that. So keep on focusing on your breath and give yourself permission to fail miserably, to have a hard time with this meditation today, to not be able to focus on the breath for even a single second, constantly thoughts running in, constantly an aggravating feeling inside of you that feels like nausea, and you just want to be angry with everyone. That's okay. That's how you're feeling right now. There's no need to act out on it. Just let it be there. And also let it go if it wants to go. Don't push it down and feel like I'm not supposed to feel this way. Also, don't start yelling and screaming to everyone around you while you're sitting. It could be a bit strange. Instead, look at it. See what it is. As you're keeping your awareness on your breath. Because the breath is your anchor. The breath is the part that's always there. That helps you stay present. That helps you not get too pulled away by your distortions. Now, to make it a little bit easier, we'll do a technique where we count our breaths from 1 to 8 and then down again from 8 to 1. And I'll do it together with you one time first, and then you can continue doing it by yourself. So counting in, actually not counting in, but breathing in. We breathe in and out. 1. In and out. 2. In and out. 3. In and out. 4. In and out. 5. In and out. 6. In and out. 7. In and out. 8. In and out. 7. In and out. 6. In and out. 5. In and out. 4. In and out. 3. In and out. 2. In and out. 1. Now continue counting your breaths from 1 to 8, and then down again from 8 to 1 as you breathe in and out. 1. In and out. As you sit, make sure that you don't carry any tension in your shoulders. Maybe move your shoulders around a little bit. Same with your head, your neck, your eyes, your mouth. Some people tend to push their hands really hard against each other. Maybe your legs are cramping up, then by all means feel free to stretch them out. But continuously through your meditation, look for tension, because it's very easy when we sit to start cramping up in certain places. And as you do, again, be forgiving. People are so hard on themselves, what they believe they should be like, what their experience should be like, for them to allow themselves to enjoy being here. It's very easy to make meditation your new Facebook. Just as you watch Facebook and see other people have exaggerated smiles and going on vacation everywhere, just eating great food, it's easy to feel bad, like you're left behind, like you're not achieving what they're achieving in their life. People tend to do the same things with spirituality or meditation. They look at other people and hear stories. They say like, wow, I wish I was like that. I'm just a normal person. I don't have any special experiences. I can't be special. Like I probably am doing something wrong. I have to do something different. It's the same thing. We keep looking for something other than what is. If I could just change this, then I can enjoy being here. That's not to say that there's no effort involved in enjoying, or that it's just going to happen by itself. We need to consciously allow ourselves to enjoy being here, to enjoy experiencing life, and not put all these obstacles in our way. So as you continue meditating and focus on your breath, or just observe being, look inside and ask yourself, are you doing the Facebook version of spirituality? Are you looking at other people wishing that you were different, that your experience was different, because they seem to be having such magnificent experiences? Tantric sex, outworldly experiences where they travel to other dimensions, or see things that aren't here, see past life, future lives, manifest their dream partner or twin flame, or I can't even come up with all the names of things that are supposed to happen to you. Whatever you're experiencing is what you're experiencing. And that's okay. Now that you've been okay with it, then change your life into whatever you want it to be. Not society, not your family, not your past beliefs, but what you want right now. As you keep on observing your breath, breathing in and out. 1. In and out. 2. You're free to continue sitting if you feel like it. If you open your eyes, try looking around and look at one of the things that you looked at before, or anything new if you feel like it, and just see if it's different to observe the world around you now. If it's easier to just see it as it is and be okay with it. Feel something. See what it feels like to experience sensation. Then move to your hearing and hear if you can hear anything around you. How does it feel like? What does it feel like to hear things around you after you meditated compared to before? Now try to smell. See if there's any smells around you. Finally, taste. Are there any tastes that you can sense? If you feel like it, have a cup of tea, or just sit with us a bit longer. Ask any questions if you have them. Is it okay if does it help anyone that I talk like I did now? This was a bit more, maybe less guided meditation and more introspection, something, right? There's a lot of things in how we approach our practice that can make it easier. And I just try to bring those up sometimes because I feel like it. Nadia, this meditation is a roller coaster of emotions, lol. Okay. I'll take that as a good sign, maybe. A lot of things can come up in meditation. Oh my goodness. People always... When I would come back to Sweden after I'd been away, I would come back every now and then and I'd meet friends and like, wow, I'm so jealous. I wish I could just sit and be zoned out all day, like months at a time. This sounds amazing. Like, oh, you have no idea. This is the most difficult thing I have ever done in my entire life. It's, yeah, just sitting that much is not vacation. It's difficult with the things that come up. But it's kind of a work you do to let go of things or to learn to come back to what it was like before you added all those things that you now call me. Like create separation between you and other people. Nadia, it was good. You made me laugh out loud and emotional too. Nice. Laughing is a good thing. Enjoying is a good thing. Like I said, you know what it's like when you're angry and then someone makes a joke and you're like, I don't want to joke, I don't want to, no, don't want to, I do myself sometimes, like, no. I don't feel like it because I want to stay angry. And if that happens, it's important not to... There's like there's a gap, kind of. I feel bad and I want to feel good. And even if I talk about that all the time, that feeling good and enjoying being alive is a choice. That is true, but that doesn't mean that you can just go from feeling bad to over here like that. It doesn't work like that. Many times it's a process of just feeling the badness and kind of like, oh, I can go from feeling bad and hurting people around me to just feeling bad. I mean, that's better than hurting people around me. And just, okay, I just feel bad. Like, I'm not pushing it down and I'm like exploding it out. I'm just experiencing it. And then you go from that to maybe enjoying a few things and not feeling completely grumpy. But then the shift to feeling good is longer. And then after that, you have the feeling of really being here and then like completely like not being affected by that. And then if you're really non-centric, then there's a feeling of really not being there. Things are just happening. There is no one controlling them. It sounds strange. It's not that there's anyone else controlling. There's just no... I have a theory that what happens is that the distortion makes a gap. This is a theory. A gap in between I feel I want to go there, and it happens. So it's like that's how we direct our movement. I kind of create tension and I move. I create tension and I go over there. I create a sense of uncomfortableness and I get my teacup and I drink something so I can make this feeling go away. When you're really non-centric and there's no separation, there's no feeling of uncomfortableness. So it feels like no one is doing it, because the feeling of me comes from the uncomfortableness. That's the sense of. That's why in Buddhism they say everything is suffering, everything is distortion, everything is dukkha. There's friction, like this, and when it isn't, life just is, and it feels like there's no one there. Nice. It seems like everyone, hopefully everyone, had a good time. There's a strange smell in here. It was like something burnt. That's not a good sign. I'm gonna have to go out and have a look later. I want to thank you, everyone. It really, for me, coming here, sitting here and talking is important. It's part of my practice, and it really helps me stay grounded and stay with my practice. If you wouldn't come here, it would be more difficult for me to just kind of come up with these things, because you ask questions, say things, and I can kind of feel what people's moods are, and then I give out different things, and it really helps me as well. So I'm really happy that you come, and I appreciate that. Andreas, I easily get caught up in negative thoughts when I have to present something like I'm not good enough. Yeah. It's a common thing. Like, we have this idea that if you look at that and really see what's behind that feeling, there's a fear of rejection, there's a fear of something happening, that if this doesn't happen in a specific way, then I should feel bad. I'm a failure. I didn't do what I was supposed to, and I should feel bad. That doesn't mean that if you fail in your task, you won't get fired. You might still do that. I'm not talking about like changing reality. Those are still cause and effect, but there's no reason why you should feel bad because of that. The funny thing is, when you learn to just enjoy whatever happens, things tend to work out better than they do than when you feel panicky and worried. It's a practice part, for sure. Mats, thanks for the meditation. I'm really struggling with self-worth and self-love at the moment, but meditation helps. Happy to hear that, Mats. Nice. I'm really struggling with wanting to close my eyes and going to sleep. I need my sleep today. I'm gonna sleep well. I had the kids alone today. My fiance was working, and we had snow, and we were out playing in the snow and built a snowman and had a great day. But it's also a lot of work running around, pulling two kids in a pulka, what is that? A sleigh. But we had a good time. So it'll be nice to sleep today. I think they're still asleep. I think they're asleep now. Thank you, everyone, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Thursday again. Remember to enjoy whatever is happening and be kind to yourself.